starting something new. Well, not exactly. It's more a continuation of something I've been doing for a while now. You see, I've been chasing the Maine 3,500 footers, and if you're a follower of the channel, that's far from being news to you. I've had this series and I've gotten the list down to only 10 peaks. There's just one problem. It's winter. Well, it's not technically winter according to the calendar, but the snow and the chilly temps do seem to say otherwise. Regardless, I'm at a standstill. You see, all the peaks I have left on the list are currently inaccessible. So, what do I do in the meantime? That's the question I've been asking myself for some time now. And it's not just a question of what to do while winter has its hold on the state, but what's next after I finish the Maine 3,500 footers? Upon much contemplation, I've come to the conclusion that finishing the Maine 3,500 footers doesn't quite feel complete. After checking off this list in its entirety, I will have done the top 64 mountains by elevation in the state, plus a few others. But 64 doesn't really seem done, does it? Sure, I will have achieved my goal of climbing every mountain above an elevation of 3,500 feet, a goal which I once wondered if it was even achievable. For me, anyway. To really finish this out, though, I at least feel like this needs to go to the next level. Introducing the Maine 100 highest. No, this is not a list that many people do. As a matter of fact, I don't know of anyone that is specifically doing this list. There's a small community of people who do the New England 3,000 footers, which by extension would include the mountains named in this list. But this is no New England 67 or New England 100 highest. Why? Well, there's no trails for most of these. Like the 3,500 footers, many of these 3,000 footers are bushwhacks. You know I love bushwhacking. So that brings us back to today. Today, I am attempting to summit the 2 peaks of Lily Bay Mountain, one of which ranks at number 100, right at the bottom of the list. When I research these hikes, I often look for old forums and trip reports to get even a shred of helpful info about it. Lily Bay had a lot of talk around 2006. It seems a lot of the people in the 3,000 footers community were talking about this bushwhack, and not for good reasons. Folks who have done every 3,000 footer in New England were saying at the time it was in their top 5 worst bushwhacks of the 451 New England 3Ks. To think that this is one of the thickest, hardest bushwhacks of the New England 3,000 footers is quite intimidating. Whether it turns out to be that way or not is to be determined. But if I can get this done and get it out of the way, boy, is that gonna feel good. Let's find out. So there's no way it will show up on the GoPro, but this right in front of us is number 4 mountain. And I know that because I can see the fire tower up on top. Yeah, won't show up on the camera, but I can see it with my eye. And yeah, pretty cool. So we are nestled in. The Lily Bays are right next to Baker. So I do have a video coming from over here up over number 4. And then if you continue on this way, you get to Baker. It's kind of a long trip, but there is a trail. So this time I am going to be keeping more on this side of the mountains and heading up Lily Bay. This would make such a cool spot to camp. This spot down in here by all these spruces, just grand view. It's awesome. It might be a wooded summit and no views on Lily Bay, but the approach is quite scenic so far. Oh boy, there is the west summit of Lily Bay. It is up there. And so of course the east summit will be over that way. You can see there's a lot of logging cuts down in this lower section, so I'm hoping that's to my advantage. But we will see. All right, I reached the end of the road, so at this point I'm just following like a skidder path until that ends, and then I'll be going through the thick brush. All right, I stopped for a minute to have a quick snack and switch out my layers. I exchanged my puffy for my shell now that I'm going to be starting to head into the thicker stuff, and also in the steeper terrain, so generating plenty of heat. Don't want to overheat too bad, so swap that out. Yeah, needed a drink, needed a snack, so now I'm gonna keep moving. I'm about 2 miles in, and about an hour in, so I was able to do a decent pace coming up to this point, and I think from here it's going to be absolute snail's pace until I return back to this point, because yeah, just bushwhacking is slow, and then you add in some snow and it's slower, and so yeah, it is what it is. I got plenty of time. It's 8:30 in the morning, so let's get to it. All right, so I think I'm starting to see what was being described. This thick brush. I mean, this type of stuff, it's not like the really young spruce and fir that's low to the ground and all the branches are in your face, but this stuff is just, they're so tight together, tightly woven, and that's what a lot of those guys were saying about this. Just a ton of spruce, just 12 inches apart, just everywhere. Now it is so thick. Now we're into those spruces that have the low branches and they're absolutely covered in snow. Can't see a thing unless you're in one of these little clearings, but oh my goodness, this is brutal. That's where I have to go, right there, right there. This looks like heaven. It looks wide open. I cannot describe to you what I just went through. That was the thickest, densest brush I've ever bushwhacked through for what felt like a long period of time. Not really that far distance wise, but man, oh man, that was tough. And it's not gonna get easier. I mean, I'm in a temporary clearing, but everything I've read says it's thickest at the top. So, I mean, I don't know how it can be any thicker than that right there, but anyway, I'm glad for a temporary reprieve. Oh my goodness. I can't believe I found it. I thought there's no way I'm going to find the canister, if there even is. I didn't even know if there was one up here. But I was like, there's no way, there's too much snow. A lot of the branches are like hanging down, covering the tree trunk, so it's like you can't even see. But I saw this one bump over here and I was like, man, that looks like the highest point. Came over here and sure enough, here it is. Oh man. Victory. Lily Bay Mountain, West Peak, done. Couldn't get the canister open. It has one of these screwed in bottoms, but unfortunately it's really frozen and probably hasn't been opened in so long that it's stiff anyway. So I really tried to get it open, but it's all right. Lily Bay East, I'll come back for you another time. I decided the best thing to do is to reconnect to my track, go back down, and call it a day for this hike. Although I didn't get both peaks I wanted, I still consider this a success. Getting the West Peak is awesome. But I just don't think it's really the best choice to try to keep pushing towards there. The brush is so thick. It is incredibly thick. And so all the snow piled on it makes it even harder. But even so, I think it would be much better to just come at it from the other side, from number 4, and then just come up off the Baker Mountain Trail. That's going to be a lot easier, and do it when there's no snow. So yeah, I'm gonna head back down and get back to the truck. All right, I made it back. What an adventure that was. Definitely lived up to the hype of being a very difficult bushwhack. I think trying to go to the East Peak would have been impossible at this time of year. But I'm glad I made the decision I did. Always a good reminder to make good choices. Don't get so caught up in getting to a summit or doing what you plan to do that you compromise your safety. So glad I turned around when I did. But anyway, thank you for watching today. I hope you enjoyed the video. And this may be the last video of 2025. There might be one more, but if not, Happy New Year, and I will see you in 2026. But until then, stay inspired, stay creative, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.